I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to our series on rational functions. We are understanding the concept of relating graphs with the equation. We'll first discuss the strategy. How do we write the equation from the given graph? We'll take up examples to master this strategy. You can then follow up with our playlist with more practice questions. As you know, we are pioneers in providing you with quality videos for high school students. Follow us and learn more. The question here is, write the equation representing the given graph in the form of f of x equals to ax plus b over cx plus d. Verify the equation by using the point P. So let's look into the graph. Here is a point P, and we are also showing vertical and horizontal asymptotes with the help of dotted orange lines so that you can clearly see what we are up to. Now, first, before getting into solving, let's understand what does it really mean, right? Great. Now, since the horizontal and vertical asymptotes are given to us, from this graph, horizontal asymptote is when x approaches infinitely large value. It could be positive or negative. For now, we'll just take positive. Now, if x is very large positive value, what happens to f of x, right? So f of x, if it approaches a value L, then y equals to L is the horizontal asymptote. Right? Now, you can always rewrite this expression as taking x common, right? If you take x common, you get a plus b over x, correct, in the numerator. In the denominator also, taking x common gives you c plus d over x. Now clearly from here, you could cancel the x's. So you have a plus b over x and c over d over x. Now what happens when x approaches infinity? When x approaches infinity, then b over x approaches 0, right? Even d over x, anything over x will approach 0. So that means what happens to function? Function approaches a over c. Do you see that? Now, so we can say very clearly that in this case, f of x approaches a over c, and therefore the horizontal asymptote is basically equal to y equals to a over c. Is that clear? So horizontal asymptote is this particular ratio, the coefficients of x in such an equation. Clear? The other part, vertical asymptote, is relatively simple. For vertical asymptote, denominator need to be 0. Means this part, correct? So cx plus d equals to 0. And from here, we know cx is minus d or x is minus d over c. So that becomes the vertical asymptote, right? So let me rewrite here. Vertical asymptote is x equals to minus d over c, correct? And horizontal asymptote is y equals to a over c. Is that clear to you? So a over c is the value for y horizontal asymptote. Is that clear to you? There are many other parameters which are very important to figure out of which x and y intercepts are very critical. But like for example, here you could actually see the x intercept, right? So let's analyze the x intercept also. X intercept really means what? It means y equals to 0. Means the numerator is 0, right? So means ax plus b equals to 0, and that gives you the value of x intercept. X is equals to minus b by a. Let me complete it by giving you y intercept also. Y intercept is when x equals to 0. If I substitute x as 0, I get what? I get y equals to b by d, correct? So b by d is basically the y-intercept. So let me write down here y-intercept is b by d. Is it okay? and the x-intercept, which I worked in uh, green, is equal to minus b by a. So in a way, in terms of a, b, c, and d, we have so many points on this particular graph. Very easy to work out. You need to figure out a strategy to get the answer, and that comes with practice. So let's take up questions to practice. So here is the very first graph for you. So I'll suggest go with the horizontal asymptote first, right? So horizontal asymptote, as you can see in this case, is y equals to minus 1. It really means that a over c is minus 1, right? So that means a over c is minus 1. Is that clear to you? So what I can take here is I can take a as minus 1 and c as 1, right? So I could actually write here as f of x equals to, the ratio is minus 1, right? So I could write even c as minus 1. But anyway, let's see. And write down the vertical asymptote also. Vertical asymptote is at x equals to 3. X equals to 3 is the vertical asymptote. So if I take c as 1, right? So if c equals to 1, let us say if c equals to 1, then what happens? In that case, if c is 1, in that case, we have x plus d, and we want this value to be 0 for 3. That means I could write this value at x minus 3. Makes sense? And here I can write it as minus x plus b. Makes sense? So see, in just analyzing these 2 points, we are able to write down a fruitful equation. Point P is given to us, and point P is for x value of 4, we have a value which is minus 3. So that should give you value of B, right? So that is one way of doing it. So if we have to use it, so we can use minus 3 and 4 here to get the value of B, right? So minus 3 for f of x, and the value we need to find, x is minus 4, minus x is 4. So I'll write minus 4, correct? We need to find the value of B, and here we have x as 4, 4 minus 3, right? So clearly we have an equation which is minus 3 equals to minus 4 plus b, right? And from here, we can take 4 on the right hand side, and that gives you the value of b as minus 3 plus 4, or 1. So b is 1. And therefore, we get our equation, which is f of x equals to minus x plus 1 over x minus 3. Makes sense? You can verify the equation with the x-intercept, right? But sometimes in this type of a graph, x and y-intercept are fraction values. Therefore, you cannot exactly get the answer. So taking up x-intercept may yield a wrong answer. You get the whole idea, correct? So that is the case. Perfect. So now in this particular case, as we have seen, the value of p was 4 and minus 3. Substituting 4 for x and minus 3 for y, and calculating the value of p, we got some value, and that satisfies the equation. That is how you should actually solve the graph. Use the point given to you. Perfect. So I hope it is absolutely clear. Now, let's take up the second question, which will help you master this strategy. So once again, we'll follow the same procedure. So we have a vertical asymptote here and the horizontal asymptote. We need to write their equations. Horizontal asymptote is y equals to minus 1, and the vertical asymptote is x equals to minus 1. Sorry, 0, right? X equals to 0. So x equals to 0 is your vertical asymptote. And that clearly indicates that in this particular case, only x is there in the denominator, right? Correct? Because the value of d is 0, right? And y is minus 1. means I can take A as minus 1, right? So A equals to minus 1, correct? We can write C as 1, and we know D as equal to 0 since vertical asymptote is x equals to 0. So we get all this. We can write f of x as equal to minus x plus b over x. Is that clear to you? Now to find the value of b, we are given a point P, which is right there. For x equals to 1, the y value is 2. So we'll write 2 here, minus 1 plus b over 1. So basically, we are given 2 equals to minus 1 plus b, or the value of b is 2 plus 1, which is 3. And therefore, we can write down our function. So the function f of x is minus x plus 3 over x. Makes sense. So that is how we are going to write our equation. I hope it makes sense. The best strategy is to work with horizontal and vertical asymptote to get a family of curve, right? Once you have the family of curve, to be specific, you need to know the point. Identify the value of point P and get the specific equation of the given graph. Hope it makes sense, right? Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your valuable time and all the best.